Hey, welcome everybody to Burning Down the House. Today we're going to make some beef and broccoli. It's going to be really excellent. If you love good food, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel because that's all we have over here. And you've got a great plate right there. We're going to show you exactly how to make that. I'm going to get the cutting board out and start with the beef. Now I bought a tri-tip, but you can actually buy just about any cut of beef you want. You want to probably get a couple of pounds to feed your whole family. Just depends on the size of the family that you want to feed. But this particular recipe here calls for 2.5 pounds of beef cut up into strips, as you can see. And we're going to go ahead and marinate this and season the beef so it can sit while we do everything else that's needed to do for this particular dish. And you can get any kind of cut of meat you want as far as the beef goes. And we're going to throw it in this bowl and start with the seasoning. So we're going to start out with some soy sauce and some lemon. And so we're going to go ahead and splash a good generous amount of soy sauce in there. I would say you probably want to use about a 1/2 to 3/4 cup soy sauce and another roughly 1/4 to 1/2 cup of lemon. And then you're going to sprinkle a nice amount of onion powder and garlic powder or granulated garlic and granulated onion on the meat, and you're going to go ahead and then add some black pepper and sprinkle. That depends on taste, how much black pepper you want. Some people don't like it, some people really like it, so that's going to depend on you. So we're going to sprinkle a generous amount of black pepper in there. I like black pepper. And we're going to stir all of this up so it marinates and it gets seasoned before we actually cook the meal. And so that's getting stirred up. Now we're going to go ahead and cut our vegetables up. There's the bell pepper, some colored sweet peppers. I am using a lot of vegetables in this dish. You don't necessarily have to use all the vegetables that I'm using in there, but you really should have an onion and a bell pepper at least, and the broccoli. But I've also got some green onion, and I've got some carrots here that I'm putting in it as well, and some water chestnuts, and some celery. So a lot of this is optional. It just depends on how many veggies you want in your recipe. I tried to use a big variety in this right now because I wanted to show you, give you an idea that, hey, you can put a lot in here. We're going to cut all these vegetables up and, chop them up. Usually most of them just get chopped up into, reasonably small sizes for you so that you can get them all cut up really well. Cutting up the carrots there. And carrots, you want them cut up pretty small because they take a little bit of time to cook. So you definitely want the carrots cut up small. There's onions, and onions can be kind of a little bit larger. Some people like to pick those out. But we're going to chop up these green onions as well, and they go into in with the veggies. And so I separate the regular veggies from the broccoli because broccoli goes in at the end, and we'll show you as we cook this. But you're going to go ahead and get your broccoli trees all made up into nice looking trees, so you have a nice bite. Couple of heads of broccoli there, and all of the veggies. Look at that. We got the onions and the carrots and everything and the broccoli all set, ready to go into 2 separate bowls. And now what we're going to do is move on to the next step that we have, which is getting over to the stove. We're going to turn on that fire, get that fire lit, and we're going to start with a wonderful side dish. Now, the perfect side dish with this is white rice. So you're gonna take about a cup of rice to 2 cups of rice, depending on how much rice you like, and you're going to cook that with some butter, 1/2 cube to a whole cube, depending on whether you use 1 cup or 2 cups of rice. With 1 cup of rice, you're going to need 2 cups of water. 2 cups of rice, you're going to need 4 cups of water. And after you've fried that rice up a little bit with the butter, then you're going to stir the water and get everything mixed together, and you're going to turn your heat down after it gets boiling good. You need to put the lid on it, watch for it to boil just like that, and then you're going to get that heat turned down to a very low heat, and you're going to let that cook for 20 minutes. and you're going to set your timer for 20 minutes. And when that timer goes off, you can go ahead and turn on the you can turn off the rice and put it aside. Leave the lid on the rice. Now what we've got the water chestnuts, and you drain those, and we're chopping those up because I forgot to chop them earlier, so that was a little bit of a mistake. I should have chopped them up with all the vegetables, but it's okay. It's okay if you make a little mistake like that. We all make mistakes. Let's go ahead and take a look at that rice. That rice was cooking up good. The 20 minutes passed, and we move it to the side. Now we got the big 12-inch pan. We put butter, some sesame oil, and some chopped garlic in the pan, along with all of those vegetables that we put in that bowl, and we're going to cook those up. Those are going to cook for roughly about 15 minutes. You're going to put a lid on them and let them cook and steam up really, really well. And as you can see, we're going ahead and putting the water chestnuts in there also. The water chestnuts should have been in with the rest of those, but we're going to sprinkle some soy sauce also over these vegetables to give them a little bit of flavoring. I don't use any salt in this recipe, just soy sauce. As you can see, they're sizzling up very nicely, cooking beautifully there, and we're gonna stir. You stir them every once in a while, get them stirred up. As you can see, nothing special to this. They just need to cook. Put the lid on, 15 minutes, and as you can see, take the lid off, and when you got the steam coming up really good, and it's been 15 minutes, then you go ahead and stick that meat on top. Then you spread that meat out along the top, and then you're going to continue to put a lid on it and let it cook again for at least another 15 minutes or so, while it continues to cook the vegetables and it continues to then cook the meat. Put that lid on, let that cook up really good. Now we take the lid off, and you can see the meat's getting cooked up really good after the 15-minute time or so. As long as you've cut the pieces thin and small enough, they'll cook the beef will cook fairly fast, especially since it's gotten room temperature. Now we want to add the brown sugar. This is a nice secret to the recipe right here. A cup of brown sugar is what you need. You want to squirt a little bit of sriracha. Now this is something that depends on taste. If you don't want it spicy, don't use any. We do like a little bit of spice over here in my house, so we put a little bit of sriracha in there, and you can see it sizzling and cooking up really nicely. Look at that meat, and you can see everything's cooking up really, really well. So when you start seeing it like this, you're getting close to ready to put that broccoli in. So we're going to stir that sriracha in there. You want the sauce mixed up pretty well before you put the broccoli in. Most of that should be pretty done, or close to done by the time before you put the broccoli in, and the broccoli is going to go on the top. But you also need to add, if you want to thicken it up, you add a little bit of cornstarch. That was about a tablespoon of cornstarch with a little bit of water. The broccoli went right on top. You cover it again. You give it about 15 minutes covered. And then when you take the lid off, you're going to see the broccoli got much greener. Much greener. And to check to see if the broccoli is completely cooked, it's really easy. That's why you leave the broccoli on the top. You want the broccoli a little crisp, but you do want it cooked through. You can just take a fork and see if it's tender enough. You stick a fork in a piece of broccoli and check it. It's very, very easy to do, and we're stirring that up there. Now after stirring it up and covering it for maybe 5 more minutes, you're going to check that broccoli and make sure that it's done and that you've got it ready to eat. So if it looks tender and done, you're done. You're ready to make yourself a full plate of beef and broccoli. And let me tell you, that brown sugar, that is a very, very important ingredient to make this flavor of this beef and broccoli just pop and come out exceptionally well. My whole family loves this dish. We eat it all the time. There's the white rice, and we're going to scoop some of that out. We're going to make this plate. Get this plate looking good. Look at that. That's going to be a really good, really, really good plate right there. Get that scooped out, and then make a little hole in the middle, and you're gonna put your your beef and broccoli right in the middle of that, and there you go. There you go. Beautiful plate. Now another way I like to make it is by having the rice on the side and the meat on the other side, and then you put some of the sauce over the rice as well. So that's another way to make it, to plate it if you want to. That's really personal preference, and it depends on each person as far as how they are going to like their plate made. So there you go, everybody. 2 different ways to plate it. Just depends on your preference as to how you would have it. Ooh, it looks good. Looks good, making me hungry. You guys have a great day.